And we are live. Cool. Let me write something over here. Live! Exclamation mark. Oh, nothing wrote. Okay, live. Exclamation mark. Smiley face. Nice. Okay, so we are live and we're here to brew another cup of coffee, obviously. So today we're going back to these Colombian beans, the natural processed beans that really have been stumping us lately. But this weekend I did some tweaks to my recipe and I also totally changed up the technique that I'm doing. So I'll be using the Tetsu Kasuya technique with these beans today. So we will pretty sure get a good cup of coffee because I did get a good cup of coffee this weekend. So I'm excited to share that with you peeps and what I have found with these beans and kind of like my realization with this particular set of beans over here that I've gotten. So let's begin. But before I begin, I just want to share the recipe that I used on the weekend and what it tasted like. So I don't know if you can see it over here. Let me bring it a bit closer like this. So, yeah. So yesterday, I brewed with a 1:15 brewing ratio, 20 grams of coffee, a 43 grind size, a water dose of 300, a boiling temperature, and I poured 2 doses of 60 first, and then I poured 3 doses of 60 after. And that was the method that I got a really good cup of coffee. It was slightly under extracted, but overall the taste of this coffee was the best one so far. So going by that, I'm going to change the grind size and just decrease it a bit, and hopefully that will balance out the cup. And this change has actually been a big part of the burr change that I did. So I changed my burrs on my grinder, and what I realized is that my burrs were just totally done. They were seeing the end of its life, and it was just creating a lot of fines. And I'm going to show you a coffee bed that I have from yesterday that I saved so that you can just look at the consistency of the grinds over here. So looking over here, let's see. Yeah, so when I normally grind this coarse, you would see a lot of fines and muddiness on top of the coffee bed. But this time around, as you can tell, it's actually pretty darn consistent, which is amazing. And that is exactly what I want to see from a new set of burrs. No muddiness, no excess amount of fines, and just like the individual grinds just visible up top. And I remember when I did this with the old burrs, I would see like this layer of muddiness, which wasn't that great. But with the burr change, the grinds look great and consistent. Pretty amazing. So let's begin our process. Today, yet again, we're going to brew with these variables right over here. It's going to be a 1:15 brewing ratio, 20 grams of coffee. The one thing we're changing is our grind size from 43 to 40. We'll be using a boiling water temperature, and we'll be using 300 grams of water divided into a 60-60 dose in the beginning, and then a 60-60-60 dose at the end over here. So let's do that up. Turn this over here, like so. And you might also notice that my camera is not as blown out this time around because I've done some tweaks to the settings. So hopefully everything is a bit better and crisp looking. measure out 20 grams of coffee. Got our coffee beans over here. Make sure that the grind size is on 40. Nice. And there we got our grinds. A bit more. Like so. 20. Nice. So yeah, the grinds look just way more consistent. Not as much fines as before. Right now I'm using a grind size of, let's see. Yeah, and with the new grind burrs, I just can tell that everything is just way more contrasty and like uniform in shape, which is amazing. So we're actually grinding pretty coarse. So just looking at the grind size and my ruler over here, I'm actually in the coarse setting over here. I'm like 1,400 microns and up to like 1,800, maybe beyond the ruler. So pretty darn coarse for our grind setting. We'll see how it goes. Let's get our cup. Let's get our Hario V60, our filter, and we'll preheat. Like so. Toss that out. Like so. Toss in the grinds. Shake that out. There. Bring it to the timer. And we'll begin. So start the timer off. Pour 60 grams of water. Like so. And let it fully drain out. And then pour another 60 grams of water. Like so. Let that fully drain. And And then another 60 grams to 180. Like so. And then we got 2 more pours of 60 grams. Wow, it's like so crazy how uniform it is now. Like so. I guess I've been living with really dull burrs for a while, and it hasn't really impacted me because I've always like compensated by using very fine grinds and like a lower extraction and other variables like water temperature or brewing ratio and so on. But just having the possibility to grind really coarse and consistent to get a good extraction is just another possibility now, which is great. And that's it. So we're ending off at around 3 minutes. 3 minutes on the dot. There we got our coffee bed. Looking mighty good. Nice, nice. Shake that. Stir this. And there we go. Let's move you back up again. Like so. Okay. There we have our cup of coffee. So the parameters look great. The bed looks amazing, as in the coffee bed. And I'm pretty excited to try this one out. Like looking at the coffee grind consistency, it makes me really flabbergasted how consistent it is right now with new burrs, with new fresh burrs. I should like take a photo of this and really like keep that as a reference for what I should be having my burrs at all the time and when I need to like change the burrs. So let me just take a photo, because it's so easy to kind of like forget over time how really good grind consistency looks like at coarser grind settings. And here we have a really good example of that. And photo, cool. Maybe I'll brew some more French press soon, just because I have more consistent coarse grind settings, just to mix it up a bit. So letting it cool down, letting it do its thing, and give it a sip shortly. Cheers. Yeah. Better than yesterday's cup, as in yesterday's cup had a lot of sour notes that came from the under-extracted qualities. But this time around, it's pretty good. It's balanced, and it's a really decent cup of coffee again. I feel like I'm not getting the... Like, it's not blowing me away or anything, but it is a really good and balanced cup of coffee. And maybe this is just how these beans are, and I'm trying to like get more out of these beans that isn't really there. Because even in the cupping session, I didn't really get a lot of interesting tasting notes or things that were like blowing my mind in the cupping session. And this is the same over here, where the cup is just really balanced and smooth with like a few acidities here and there, but nothing that I can really latch onto. But overall, just a good cup of coffee. And that's my like lowest benchmark for these beans right now. But I'm constantly just trying to get a bit more from them, because that's my hopes and dreams. I want a better cup of coffee every single time. But so far, it's just like middle of the road, pretty balanced, pretty good, but nothing mind-blowing. Yeah, it has a slightly silky body, like a nice mouthfeel, but not really anything to write home about. You know, it's like there for a quick flash and then it disappears again. But it also doesn't have any like over extracted qualities just yet. So I think what we're going to try to do is grind it a bit coarser again, just to see how we can tweak the cup just a bit more into the more extraction range to hopefully get some more tastes out of this coffee over here. So what I'm going to do is change my grind size for tomorrow again. And I don't think it needs a big change this time around. So yesterday we went from 43 to 40. So today we're going to go from 40 to 38. Like, even though it's a really balanced cup of coffee, I think it just needs that slight tweak to extract a bit more out of the coffee. And that's it for today's brew. I hope you enjoyed. I've been soaking in some of the sun, even though some days it's like single digit degrees outside. So it's very deceiving, the sunshine. You go out with maybe like a hoodie or something and then realize you need to run back in and get a jacket, because that's kind of how cold it is sometimes, even with the sun. So I'll see you peeps tomorrow, maybe. Take care. Have a great day. I'm just going to do some more editing and all that jazz. Hopefully I can get a video out by tomorrow for you. And hopefully I'll share that on the stream. So yeah, take care. Have a good one.